make good music, and that's it, right? I've been thinking about that a lot recently. Most days it really feels like it's make good music you don't hate, swallow your pride, promote yourself on social media, and then you get 200 views. I don't know, I feel like there's so much pressure to get everything just right. But the truth is, no one knows what they're doing, ever. If I had to take a wild guess, you probably know who Artemas is. But if you don't, I'm sure you've heard one of his songs going around. It's literally everywhere.
If you think I'm pretty, lay your hands on me. No, you can't stop thinking about it.
And if you still don't know who he is, let me catch you up. Artemas Diamandis was born in Oxfordshire in 1999. Growing up, he's surrounded by rock bands like the Beatles, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Nirvana. He grew up taking a lot of piano lessons also, but he always said that he felt more called to be an actor, always taking part in all of his school plays. Until... So Artemas has mentioned several times that this documentary changed his life. It was pretty much the day that he realized he wanted to be a musician. So I watched it. And as someone who didn't grow up as a Nirvana fan, I gotta be honest with you. I found the whole documentary to be insightfully tragic. From Kurt Cobain's poor upbringing, to finding his own community for the first time, to the rise and fame of his band Nirvana, the manic drug abuse, the birth of his daughter, and his inevitable passing. By the end of the documentary, I just couldn't wrap my head around why a 16-year-old Artemas would see this and say, that's it. That's what I want to do. But maybe that's just it. Maybe I'm not meant to understand it. There's beauty in different things for different people for different reasons, and that's okay. And Artemas has always mentioned how much he's drawn to artists that don't paint a pretty picture for themselves, like The Weeknd, Frank Ocean, or Amy Winehouse, for example. So, heavily inspired by that documentary and also 90s rock bands, Artemas started creating his own music around 2020. He actually saw pretty decent success from these songs. He ended up going on stage at Live at Leeds in the City, and eventually he opened up for Rex Orange County in 2022. So after a few years of writing his own rock songs, Artemas kind of hit this creative dry spell. And he started looking more into his messier parts of his personality. He started writing a lot more dark R&B songs that didn't really fit anywhere. But eventually he just said, fuck it. So love him or hate him, there were tons of rumors about Drake's new upcoming project around September. And of course, naturally, everyone online was dying to find any little bit of information as much as they could. So on September 12th, Artemas had sent a friend of his song Cross My Heart, one of these dark R&B tracks, and kind of told them, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I just posted this on TikTok and pretended that it was actually Drake's song? So he does just that. He posts a photo reel of Drake, Brent Faiyaz, and a few lyrics. He later goes to sleep, wakes up the next morning, and realizes there's thousands and thousands of comments, shares, saves. Everyone is just convinced that this is the new intro to Drake's project. So of course, with all of this sudden curiosity, Artemas decides to release the song a week later. 5 weeks later, he releases his newest song, If You Think I'm Pretty. And of course, that also starts going everywhere. A few more singles and a few more teasers after that, Artemas finally drops his second album titled Pretty. And what's crazy to me is all of this has made Artemas number 232 in the world of the most listened to person on Spotify as of right now, with 24 million monthly listeners alone. Crazy. I think some of you might hear Artemas' story and say, yeah, well, most of that is just luck. He got lucky. And maybe you're right. But the way that I see it is Artemas tried something for several years and it worked. But then it felt like it wasn't the direction he wanted to go in. And so he took a risk. He made a change. And he saw that change pay off. I feel like the road of an artist is so challenging. It's confusing. There's no right answer. There's no straight line. But from me to you, you're on the path that you need to be. I think you're exactly where you need to be. So maybe it's make good music, be patient, take some risk, try something new, and who knows, maybe the next thing you make turns out pretty.
can't stop thinking about it.
Won't you give that shit a rest? Said you needed love, but you're only here for sex.